How have you found your first week and a bit at Rangers?
It's been brilliant so far. Ever since I came in, made me feel welcome. Got to know the manager and the players as I got on, and it's been a great start.
What can you add to this team?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of a passer. I like to dictate play. Like to get people involved in the game, and try to pinch in with goals and assists when I can. So honestly, I just want to help the team in whatever way I can. Obviously I can play in different positions in the midfield, but I'll play whatever I'm suited to play on the day.
The manager has a set style of play. Do you feel that the reason you were recruited is because you fit into that?
I think that's a part of it. I think coming from Bournemouth, it's kind of a similar style of play that Rangers play here. It's a high pressing game, and when they have the ball, they try to take care of it as much as they can. So I think it's been an easy transition to kind of relate to the style he's trying to put into the squad.
What's Eddie Howe said to you about this loan spell and what he expects from you?
Well, he was all for it. When I heard about the interest, I approached him, asked his opinion, because he's a top class manager, and he had no doubt sending me here. Said he thinks it would be a great experience for me and trusted the manager completely here. He was all for it.
Many people see English football as this big league, the Premier League, it's massive, but you're coming from a club that maybe gets 12,000, 13,000 a week up to a club that gets 50,000 every week. What's that going to be like, making the step like that?
Yeah, it's not often that really happens. Normally when you go on loan, it's sometimes to a League One side or whatever it is, and I think it's a huge opportunity for me. To play in front of that many fans at home and even away, having that many traveling supporters all the time is really, really cool. I'm looking forward to that part, and it's just part of my development, and I think that's a big part of it, really.
Appreciate you might not know too much about Scottish football, but what are you expecting then, or what have you sort of picked up so far?
Well, it's just as intense, it's an intensity of training, which is always good, and I think the big thing for me is to focus on Rangers, not just entirely Scottish football, but really to put my best interest in just focusing on this club and how the team plays, and really get adapted to it as quick as I can.
A lot of comments when people come up is that they're perhaps surprised at how fast it is and how sort of frantic it can be. As someone who does like to dictate play, is that something you might have to get used to?
Yeah, I mean, there's always an adjustment period. It's just how quick it is. In training, I've felt like I've adapted to it quite quick. And like you said, it's a quick style of play, back and forth. And in dictate, you can dictate games different ways. That's just sometimes you can pierce defenses easier than others, and sometimes you can do it quicker than other games. So it's just a case of balance.
I know there's been former teammates of yours mentioned that now play up here, the likes of Patrick Roberts and so on. What level of contact have you had with them about the move, and I suppose how much are you looking forward to coming up against them?
Yeah, of course. I know they're enjoying their time up here. Pat, Musa, and Gideon as well that was here. He told me he really enjoyed his time up here, and that he enjoyed playing in front of that many fans every week, and really enjoyed the club in general. So having feedback with guys that you've played with always helps.
You'll obviously be focusing very much on Rangers, but when you see how well things are going for Musa in particular, it must sort of at least open your eyes to what a good platform playing up here can be.
Yeah, and I think he obviously he's done well since he's been here, and I think it's just a case of confidence. He's had his run of games and has done well with it. So I'm just looking to take my chances when I can, and hopefully push on from there.
On that note of talking to other players, did you speak to any former Rangers players who are also American?
The only one was Gideon. So I spoke to him, and he was very positive about the whole thing. So that kind of not made up my mind, but it kind of pushed me as well toward it. Because when you hear it from your peers, it's much easier to relate to it.
What are you expecting from making your debut at Ibrox?
Sorry?
What are you expecting from making your debut at Ibrox?
Well, I'm expecting it to be a massive crowd and a really good atmosphere. Cup games are always different in a way to league games. It's always a one-off type game. You have to be better than the other team on that day. There's no points involved. So I'm expecting a really good atmosphere, and I'm looking forward to it.
Will there be much chance for people back home to watch the game and get behind you?
There's always support from, especially Rangers. Growing up, there was always a good Scottish connection with America, and you see Rangers fans all over the place in America, especially at the bars and stuff and things like that. So obviously my parents back home will probably be watching it and everything. So yeah, it should be good.
In terms of it's a cup game this weekend, how important is that to you? You want to get as much out of your spell up here, and perhaps a winners' medal. I mean, perhaps the only realistic chance of winning something this season for you.
No, it's huge for us. It's a thing that we see we need to win. It's a cup competition, and we take it one game at a time, as you do. But yeah, it's certainly something we're looking forward to really having a go at, and try to win the thing.
You come from England, where a lot of teams don't take the FA Cup too seriously. I know Eddie Howe, the Millwall game, there have been a lot of changes. For you personally, is this competition something you want to make a mark in? Perhaps we'll take it.
Yeah, of course. I want to make my mark in any game I can play, and that starts this Saturday. And honestly, any cup competition is special because in the end, each round you go through, it's one game, and if you get through, you're on to the next one. So I think it's always special playing cups, no matter what cup it is, and in the end, the reward is a winner's medal.
You're surprised that there doesn't seem to be that. There seems to be a lessening of the sort of respect that people down south have for the FA Cup. It's got so much tradition and history, but it seems a lot of Premier League teams are now seeing it as a sort of secondary matter.
I mean, sometimes it's like that for certain clubs. Certain clubs have different situations, and you got to look at that as well. So, that teams in the Premier League could be playing in 3 or 4 competitions at the same time. So sometimes it gets taxing, and changes need to be made. But I think in our situation here, when we have a cup, as we do here, and on Saturday we're going to be looking to really make our mark on the cup.
You mentioned Gideon a few moments ago. You look at him. I mean, he came up here and he got a wee bit of game time, but suggested last week he could have moved to Borussia Dortmund. I mean, is that the sort of thing that convinced you to come here, that this is the platform that can help you make up that next step?
Yeah, it was part of it. It's I wouldn't say it's the only thing. Obviously there's other reasons, but yeah, when you see people do well here and then go on to do other things afterwards or whatever it is, then it's always nice to see that. And when you're joining a club like Rangers, that has the stature, the history of it, it always makes it much easier.
Has expectation levels been discussed with you? And obviously, you come here, you've got your own things you want to achieve, but Rangers nearly back into the top flight here. They've got aspirations to get back into Europe. The fans here are very demanding. Has that been sort of stressed to you that you get the ground running?
Definitely has, yeah. No, but I completely agree with them. I think the fans are totally right in what they want. It's a club that I remember was always playing in Europe. Growing up as a kid. It was a massive club, and I think everyone wants to see them back. Where they belong, really. And had an unfortunate couple of years, but you guys made your way all the way back up, and I think that's just human nature to feel like you want to be back there.
Is that pressure? Is that what's going to be required to have those demands placed on the players? If you want to get back there, you need to be able to live with that and cope with it.
Of course, yeah. It's always a pressure to it, but at the same time, you want to be able to cope with that pressure and kind of channel it into doing what's best for your team on the day or whatever it is. And you take it game by game. If it's a league game, you want 3 points on that day, and you go from there. But yeah, I think that pressure really helps the team really kick on.
Is it comparable to anything you've had before? Obviously, coming from down south, big clubs, but perhaps not on the scale that Rangers are in terms of worldwide type thing.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Me being at Bournemouth anyway, it's a bit different. Bournemouth originally was kind of a smaller club, kind of made its way up, and so globally it's not quite there, but in terms of the support, it's always been great. Whereas Rangers are obviously a global brand, and everyone kind of knows them wherever you go, and so yeah, it's been a bit different in that way, but at the same time, it's really exciting to me.